What is going on YouTube? It's your boy Hen Dog, and on another glorious Victory Monday, the Arizona Cardinals are not adding their first, not their second, not their third, but their fourth straight win to this regular season as they ground the New York Jets 31-6 in State Farm Stadium. The only part of the game that was close was the opening kickoff, essentially. Start off with the game. Great atmosphere going into the game. Honestly, expected more Jets fans than there would be. I know they've had a disastrous season so far, and things have not gone their way, especially for the New York faithful with that city and how passionate their fan base is. I still expected them to show up and show out to an extent. No, not a whole lot. You get there, you park in at State Farm Stadium, you see a gangrene jersey around, every once in a while, a Colecco jersey or a LaDainian Tomlinson jersey or a Joe Namath. Joe Namath is probably the most popular jersey out there. But, the New York Jets fans were there, but not as much as I expected. Cardinals fans showed up for the game yesterday. The Red Sea showed up and showed out. When I sat down and fans settled in and the game started, it was mostly red. There was some green here or there, but that's how it should be, Cardinals fans. State Farm Stadium needs to be a fortress now. This team is starting to win games. We're seeing the culture be built. The identity is being established right before our eyes. State Farm Stadium yesterday is what it needs to look like every Sunday at home. That's what this fan base needs to do, is rally behind this team, rally behind this coaching staff, because as we get into in this episode, they deserve it. I mean, start with the defense. A history-making performance from the defense, as they have not allowed a single touchdown in 3 straight home games. The last time the Cardinals did that was in the 1920s, early 1920s. So, I mean, if a century-old mark has been finally broken from a franchise that has not won a Super Bowl yet, whose last championship came in the 1940s, I mean, you got to put this into context. We didn't sign anybody in free agency. We didn't sign anybody. We signed Sean Murphy-Bunting, Justin Jones, and Bilal Nichols. Bilal Nichols and Justin Jones are out for the season. They've been out for a few games now. Sean Murphy-Bunting came back into this game. He got burnt for that pass interference call. We really didn't see him anything since. Since Sean Murphy-Bunting has been out of the lineup, the Arizona Cardinals are 4-0, and we've seen what the defense looks like it has. I'm not trying to say Sean Murphy-Bunting is the only problem on this defense, but as a man who's been saying it over and over again that he wasn't a good signing for this team, starting to look like it. I mean, let these young dogs play. Garrett Williams, Starling Thomas, Max Melton, Dorian Taylor-Robinson Rabbit hanging out in the back with Budda Baker, even though we were down Jalen Thompson, holding up in the back with Budda Baker. We were flying around the football yesterday. You wouldn't have thought the New York Jets traded for Davante Adams, because other than the drop that went through Thomas's hands and then Adams' hands in the end zone on that third down, Davante didn't do shit. Garrett Wilson got more involved, but he was more of Aaron Rodgers' quick pass safety valve, because really the Cardinals defense only offered those quick passes that Aaron Rodgers loves to do so much. Like on that 4th and 1, 2-yard comeback. Here you go, Garrett Wilson. Or a little 5-yard dump pass. Like here and there, they were slowly cutting the Cardinals offense without gashing them. They weren't getting that one big play. And the Cardinals were okay with that, but they were getting to Aaron Rodgers when they needed to. Baron Browning, the newest acquisition from the Denver Broncos at the trade deadline, he forces Aaron Rodgers outside and has to do a throwaway because of his speed and athleticism. Forces Aaron Rodgers to throw the ball away that forces a field goal. And, I mean, there's just nothing that the Jets could do on offense. Trying to mean field goals to a touchdown fight when your defense can't stop a cold. I mean, there's just nothing that the offense could do. The Arizona Cardinals defense was just on another level. Nick Rawlis and Jonathan Gannon deserve a huge round of applause. They deserve a standing ovation to what they've been able to do with this defense, with the less talent they've been able to deal with. I would love to be able to see what JG and Rawlis can do next year, with hopefully Monty Ossenfort opening the checkbook, because we have the 3rd most cap space. So hopefully we attack that in the offseason, give him some more talent on this defense, and really see what they can do. Now on the offensive side of the ball, what a performance from the offense. As you were watching that game, especially in person at State Farm Stadium, it felt like the Rams game, but slower. It felt like a slower death for the Jets, but the Cardinals were just demolishing them. It was like a slow demolition match. It was death by 1,000 cuts. James Conner gashing him. Oh, he needs a break. Okay, Trey Benson will do some outside handoffs, some zone plays. He will gash him. Kyler Murray will pull him if they're collapsing in on the run. He'll boot out to the outside like he did for a couple times. One for a touchdown. I think it was both of them, I think, for a touchdown when he pulled them. He saw the defensive end collapsing on the run on Connor, and he pulled it out to the outside and scored. I think those were on both of his touchdown runs. That's what Kyler did. But I know he did it on at least one of them. But just being able to do that, and then them thinking we're just going to run. Oh, we'll just dink you over the top with Marvin Harrison Jr. looking good. Michael Wilson drawing. Michael Wilson, the stuff won't show up in the stat sheet, but early on he drew like 2 pass interference calls that just helped us drive down the field that were really important, just with the momentum going and getting points on the board early. So those won't show up in the stat sheet, but Michael Wilson was really helpful. Zay Jones drew a couple pass interference calls as well. Trey McBride, I don't know what else there is to say. It's a disgrace that ESPN did not list Trey McBride in their top 10 tight ends to the beginning of the season. I'll have to go look back at it because as a fantasy football player and an owner of Dalton Kincaid, if I see Dalton Kincaid's ass in front of Trey McBride in that top 10 list from ESPN, I'm a fucking losing. Because there's no way in hell that you're telling me that there's 10 tight ends better than Trey McBride. I would have to go through it, but off the top of my head, I can probably only think of 2 or 3 right now that are better than Trey McBride, like Travis Kelce and George Kittle. I wouldn't throw Mark Andrews in there because he's too inconsistent. He's been too injury prone. And then, Isaiah Likely's also in there as well. But other than Kittle and Kelce, I can't think of another better tight end right now in football. You could maybe throw Laporta in there, but he's also been inconsistent. But Trey McBride, the way he's on the 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 play, the little 3-yard drag route he had, kind of like Kyler Murray threw to him, and Sauce Gardner thought he had him down. No, he didn't. Trey McBride spins out of that, gets the first down, then leaps a dude. Are we serious? 2nd week in a row, showing off that athleticism. What an absolute stud. Steve Keim didn't hit on a whole lot of picks during his time here. And I know for a fact people criticize Steve Keim making that pick in the 2nd round of Trey McBride. I'll say I won't because at the time he was the best tight end at the time coming out of the draft. Great receiving tight end, being compared to the likes of Travis Kelce. Not saying he was going to be it, but compared to the likes of Travis Kelce as a tight end and receiver. And the Cardinals' history, especially if you're a Cardinals fan, you know this. The history of us with tight ends is absolutely abysmal. I don't think the Cardinals have never had a tight end with a 1,000-yard season. They've never had a tight end with a 1,000-yard season. I think it's been a long time since they've had a tight end that consistently had 500 yards. And the Trey McBride set a tight end record his 2nd year here. Trey McBride's been a stud. I think people need to get over that shit, put it to bed if they haven't already. Trey McBride was a great pick. Love it. Great player for Kyler Murray. I love seeing what this offense has done. And then, Kyler Murray. Not saying he is an MVP this year. And he's doing what Josh Allen has done. But Kyler Murray deserves to be in the conversation for MVP. Just when you're riling off names, when you're thinking about who's the MVP in the NFL this year. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. You can maybe say Saquon Barkley, Jamar Chase. Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray needs to be one of those names that's come up when you try to think of who should be MVP this year. Again, not saying he should be your consensus pick. Not saying he should be the first one that comes to mind or top 3. Just when you're rattling off names in general, Kyler Murray needs to be one of them. Kyler Murray this year looks better, looks confident, looks free, and looks like he's just out there doing what he loves to do the most, which is playing football. He at times can be a game manager, which nowadays is not a terrible thing anymore because a game manager can mean so many different things. But there's at times where Kyler can be a game manager, like he was 2 weeks ago against the Bears, 150 passing yards or so. He was efficient, but had no turnovers, made the throws he needed to, but they just relied on the run game. So he didn't really need to do much, but he was able to manage the game, the passing plays they needed to do, the bootlegs, the play actions, the intermediates, the deep passes. He completed them. He just didn't have any touchdowns, so he didn't need to do anything. He managed the game. Like against the Chargers, he was able to manage the game. Mostly field goal contests, but he got us in position, drove down the field, and got us in the game-winning field goal. Like with Miami, he had to be more than a game manager. He had to be Kyler Murray. Hop in the Superman booth, in the phone booth, Clark Kent into Superman. He had to drive down the field, gets into another game-winning field goal against Miami. And then yesterday, 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown. A beautiful lob to Marvin Harrison Jr. in the end zone. Only where MHJ can get it. Beautiful touch on that pass. We know the connection's finally coming now. That would have not probably happened in the second game of the season. Kyler Murray probably would have just overthrown him. Like he did earlier in the season. When we watched him do like 2-yard fade routes on like the 3-yard line where Kyler Murray was just overthrowing Marvin, or Marvin was just a second late to the ball. This play yesterday was a slot fade route. Marvin Harrison Jr. was in the slot. He attacked the cornerback or safety and then broke into a fade route. And Kyler put a beautiful ball onto Marv, and it was a touchdown. I mean, Kyler was electric yesterday, and we're seeing the best Kyler I think we've seen so far in an Arizona Cardinals uniform. He just looks so good, so free, it's so confident, and I love it. I can't wait to watch more of it. I wish we didn't have a bye next week. But, hey, everyone has a bye, so it's got to come at some point. And it'll come at a good time. And then lastly, the run game. I mean, that's the identity of this team. The Cardinals' run game is the offense. You just pound it with James Conner, pound it with Trey Benson. Are you guys tired? Okay, then we'll just pound it again with James Conner behind Tip Ryman, Trey McBride, Higgy Bear, and all in our offensive line, who's just been able to just move men in the ground game lately. They've just been able to create holes, pull. Like, we're having our center yell the full hole through pulls on run plays. Like, he's leading James Conner on outside run plays. I mean, we're just doing anything with the ball in the run game, and we're able to get our way. So, and I love seeing Trey Benson. Trey Benson's starting to get his foot in. He's starting to look like a good compliment to James Conner. But all in all, James Conner needs to get paid. James Conner and Budda Baker are the 2 names that are going to be free agents next year for the Arizona Cardinals. They need to sign both. We have the 3rd most cap space in the NFL going into the offseason. James Conner is not going to ask for tons of money. Sign his ass. Probably only ask for a 2 or 3 year deal anyways. Sign him. Budda Baker will cost a little more. But I'm sorry, you're telling me that you're not watching, you're not putting the tape on, especially the last 4 weeks, and you're not seeing Budda Baker fly around the field? I mean, speaking of MVP conversation, maybe we should have Budda Baker in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. He's already at like 100-plus tackles. It's his 4th straight game with double-digit tackles. He had half a sack last week. He had a sack this week. He had a deflected pass yesterday as well that stopped a touchdown. I mean, Budda Baker is everywhere. Pay the man, Monty. This man is Larry 2.0 in terms of, I'm not saying he's like compared him to Larry the Legend, but I say he's Larry 2.0 as he's a guy you want to see retire a Cardinal. Wear a Cardinals jersey throughout his whole life. I personally wanted to see that with Tyrann Mathieu. We didn't see it. I want to see it with Budda Baker. Budda Baker needs to be a Cardinal for life. So Monty, Connor, Budda, get it done now. So the Cardinals next, like I said, going to the bye week. So it's a good time to get healthy, kind of get prepared for the next opponent. I believe we play at Seattle after the bye week, so that'll be a good game. Another a rivalry game. Hopefully we can beat those Sea Chickens because it's great to beat them every time. There's a lot to look forward to. I mean, top of the NFC West, we already have beaten the Rams and the Niners once. So if we can beat the Seahawks in Week 12, that would be absolutely huge in terms of us holding on to that grip in the NFC West. Thank you all for tuning into this video. Another Victory Monday in the books for our Arizona Cardinals. Thank you all for tuning into this video. I really appreciate the support you've been showing to me on my YouTube and on my TikTok. Please do check out my TikTok if you haven't. The link will be in my description here on this YouTube channel. I've been posting videos, shortened videos on my TikTok of like game day, game day reaction. Cause I'm boots on the ground. I go to the Cardinals game, so I'll have videos at the games. Post games, I'll have highlights from previous streams I have on my YouTube, and then other sports. I cover like basketball, baseball, and other sports on my TikTok. So please do check that out. Hit the follow button on there. But hit the subscribe button here on my YouTube. More content will be released as the week goes on. And even though the Cardinals are on a bye week, this channel's not on a bye week. More content will be coming out leading up to, getting prepared for the Seahawks in week 12. But thank you all for tuning this video. I love you all for the support, and I'll see y'all later.